Hello, I'm ADV Medic. This is the Quattro jacket and the Journey Textile by Fieldsheer. Okay, so here's the Quattro jacket. So just real quickly, I'll run through all the pockets here. So you've got these front pockets. These are large enough to put stuff in, but you can also use them for ventilation. They are a mesh on the interior here, so when you pull out the rain liner, you can use those. You've got pockets on both the bottom. You've got both the large top Velcro pockets as well as a side pocket, and those work fairly well. You have as far as ventilation goes, of course, you've got the two up front, but the real important ones here are the ones on the sleeves. They have a technology called ram air ventilation, and what happens here is you can see there's two strips of Velcro here. So you can actually fold this back on itself. You open this up, and then if you really want to open it up, you take this button and you can move it down and open up that. So you can see there you've actually got quite a bit of air, and this actually pushes air through the jacket and can really flow a lot. So you have that, and then of course a really important component of any ventilation system is to have an exhaust vents. So this is part of the ram air system as well. We unzip these here on both sides, and this allows that air to escape. The drawback of this is if you're wearing a pack, it's not going to flow near as much air unless you have that pack loose on your back. I rarely ride with a pack, at least these days, but that is that possibility. For comfort, they have these straps on the back here that are adjustable, and you can see they're in a Z pattern, and you can adjust those to fit your ever-growing waistband, and those work quite well, and it makes this a nice, good fitting jacket and avoids any kind of fluttering. So while I'm on the back here, there's this neck guard. So this flap goes around. You take this piece of Velcro and hook it onto the Velcro at the bottom of the neck, and then you'll pull this around. And like I say, I've not found this to work terrifically well. It's not really any warmer than a neck gaiter. In fact, I think my much thinner function neck gaiter actually works better. So this has triple layered material, and that could possibly stop things like bugs and stuff like that from hitting the neck, which I did have last year, and so that's a nice thing. But this thing comes off, and this is the way it usually sits on for me. It just zips right off the back here. And because it is kind of an ugly thing, I think. And so then all you have is is a Velcro hidey hole here, and you can make this completely disappear so it doesn't even look like it's there, which I do love that function there, because I much prefer to have this jacket like that. Of course, you've got this little D-ring on a Velcro to hold that off your neck if you're wanting to ride and get more air that way. You can have this jacket halfway open, and in addition to the ram air ventilation, I cannot see this ever being a very warm jacket, even in the summer, at least around here. We're in Wyoming, 7,000 feet, and the hottest it gets about is at 85 to 90 degrees on the warmest days, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, as far as the liners go, so you have first the first layer is this waterproof liner. At least what's supposed to be waterproof. It is it is lined with this meshy material, but it is not stretchy. And the Adventure Tour, which preceded this jacket, had that capability. I'm not too big a fan that they didn't continue that with this one, but maybe it wasn't as waterproof. So we'll see what happens there. So you can run this without anything inside of it. You can run it with just this rain gear, or you can run it with this thermal liner. The thermal liner is fantastic. It's very warm. It's very thin, as you can see there. It's extremely thin, but this thing is as warm as my best skiing equipment and my best snowmobiling jackets out there. Very, very warm, much warmer than, say, fleece or something along those lines that's much more bulky. So you can zip that out. You can put just the thermal liner inside the jacket. They both will work with this zip closure. And so you can just have a warm jacket that you can still run some air through, or you can put the both layers in to really maximize your warmth. There is pockets inside both layers, and so you can use an inside pocket with those, and so your rain guard is always there. So pretty slick little jacket for the money. You can't beat it. As far as armor goes, again, you've got shoulder and elbow or forearm protection that are both CE level 2, and then you've got a large back protector, and that back protector is going to run all the way from the back of the neck, just below the neck here, all the way down to the bottom here. So this is almost the entire back. For me, it certainly stretches below my waistline. And then the final thing you have on this jacket is you're going to have the ability to zip this or clip it. So you have a belt loop for hooking to a belt loop on pants, or you can use this zip connector, and that will connect you to any of the almost any brand. You can either use this to sew this into your pants, or if you already have a Fieldsheer pair of pants, they already have the zip built into them as well. So so these will actually zip together into one piece. I'm not too worried about it, at least for right now, but maybe down the road we might end up doing that. So that's the jacket. Okay, so these are the Journey Textile Pant, and these pants have a bit of reflective across the knees. They've got this piping all the way down the zip side, and then the actual Fieldsheer on here is also reflective. Quality-wise, I think these are a good quality pant. They should last pretty well. They've got the corduroy expansion patches here for your knees. They've got reinforced heavy nylon here that it's heat resistant on the inside of the legs, and good heavy Velcro all the way up and down. And then of course their zip side. These are going to zip on the outside. They're going to zip all the way up to just below the hip, and on the liner it's going to zip up to just above the knee. The thermal liner is the only thing removable on this. You've got the clip here, and then it zips around the interior here, all the way up around the waist. So it holds well in there. It doesn't jossy around and all that while you're wearing it. So I like that it stays in place. And it's very, very warm, but it seems to be a little bit cheap. And the zippers, again, are not my favorite. The ones on the liner seem to be okay. However, on the pants, they've got this overflap, which is fine to have, but the problem is the zipper tends to eat it. And so that's can be a problem. You can, of course, run these pants and you zip them down. And if you're getting too warm, you can zip them down the sides and open them up for more ventilation if you need. However, these are waterproof pants. As they are, there's no waterproof liner that zips out of them, so they're going to be much warmer, and so your ventilation is going to be key. But again, I'm not planning on wearing these when it's warm outside. I'll be wearing something like what I'm wearing now, my MSR pants, or another pair of motocross pants with some knee pads or knee braces. It does have these Velcro adjustment straps for comfort there. You've just got the single pockets in the front, and that's really about it. A pretty simple pair of pants, and your armor seems to be fairly good quality. It's D3O-like, or suspiciously like D3O. I don't think it is, but it's a good soft armor that seems to be dense enough that it would handle pretty good impact both in the hips. And then the knee pads on these are going to be quite large. They're going to run from well below my knee to well over my knee. So I'm pretty happy with the size and width of those knee pads. So, and all these liners and that are removable and washable. And that is the Fieldsheer Journey Textile Pant. Okay, so many of you may be wondering what this collar thing is. It's actually a removable collar that's for wind. So you can flip it back behind you. You can zip it off completely. That is just mainly to take the wind off your neck. I haven't quite gained a love for this yet. In fact, I've taken it off and haven't really decided to put it back on, mainly because I already wear a neck gaiter when it's chilly outside. And so It might be nice in the summer because it might keep bugs from hitting you in the neck. I had one last year that just about felt like it was going to kill me. But it's, at least at this point in the wintertime, it's not warm and it doesn't seem to stop a lot. It is fairly cleverly designed, however. There is some Velcro here on the bottom, so you bring it across and Velcro it right to the center here, and then you can bring it around and secure it around the side. But I have found that it's too loose to really work with, and it doesn't ever seem to sit in the right place for me. So it's kind of a good and kind of a bad thing. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's not a bad deal. As far as the color is concerned, it's pretty well designed. It's got this nice soft neoprene in the Adam's apple area, much better than my Icon, and Velcro closure, and it even has the ability to be able to, it has a little hook and loop like a lot of your higher end jackets that allows you to hook this up to keep it out of the way for you. So kind of a nice design on that. As far as the vents go, so this has two large vents in the front. These are actual double as pockets. They're large enough on both sides to be able to work that way. And I actually use I put my phone in one of these, and they're quite deep. So even if you have it open and have stuff in there, probably not going to be a problem even in a crash. As far as the pockets here, I like them, but they're kind of narrow to get into. You wouldn't be able to use gloves while getting into those. And same with the pockets at the bottom. They're fairly narrow opening, but they are zip closed, which I like, and pretty good that way. The outside of this jacket is a water resistant jacket. It's not a waterproof jacket. It has a waterproof liner, and so anything you put in these pockets can potentially get wet, but supposed to hold up in at least a small amount of rainfall. As far as the venting also goes, is this has a unique system called the Ram Air system, which is really quite cool. It's actually double stitched, or sorry, double Velcroed, and it Velcros back on itself. And so what it does is it holds open the vent when you open that up. And so you can really open it up by securing a fastener, and that opens it up and actually draws that air into the jacket. And it can make this really flow a lot of air. Really convenient for the summertime, and then of course just lock it up in the summertime. So pretty quick and easy. And it does have on the back here, we're going to have two large vents going across the back. The only drawback is you cannot open them while you're riding or where you have it on. But other than that, quite a good little jacket. For the price, you can't beat it. These are reflective panels, the red as well as some and the other stitching that's on here is actually reflective, so you stand out quite a bit in the nighttime. And very warm jacket with all the liners in like I have it right now. As you might be able to tell, I'm starting to get very toasty. So Velcro across the bottom. Would have loved to have seen a snap of the bottom here, but not a deal breaker. And then a nice big heavy duty zipper on the main closure. Then you have two liners. And this is where this jacket, for me, falls down a little bit. You've got a waterproof liner, very similar to like a Revit or another high-end $6,000 to $7,000 jackets. And then you have a thermal lining, both of which are removable, and both of which can be used without the other. So you can take out the thermal liner for wet weather. You can take both of them out for warmer weather to be able to flow a lot of air through the jacket. And then you can also put the thermal liner just inside and leave out the rain liner. Great and all, but the zippers on this are cheap garbage, thin zippers. In fact, the zippers here, the first day I got it, when I actually opened it up, these were separated. I'm not too big a fan of that. They should have much higher quality zippers on a jacket of this style and of this type. There's no reason why they couldn't just put the same zipper on this as they did on the main jacket. So not very happy about that. And this is actually the jacket that's compared to the Adventure Tour. And the big difference between the Adventure Tour and this jacket are a couple of things. Number one is not quite as many pockets. Not really, I don't really care about that kind of thing. It has these cheaper zippers on here, which I believe is a downgrade from the Adventure Tour. Also, the Adventure Tour's rain or weather lining was stretchy, and this one's not. It doesn't appear to have any real stretch to it at all. So, not a big fan of that. That made that a very comfortable jacket. And then the quilted liner looks different. I'm not sure if it actually is different. Unfortunately, I don't have an Adventure Tour. That was my first choice, but unfortunately they're not available in the US anymore. So I couldn't even find one to ship from overseas. So this was my option. So, but this does seem to be very warm, and it's very thin, so it's very nice that way. It's not too big and bulky, and you can easily take these out. And one thing that is missing as well from the Adventure Tour to now the Quattro is the large pocket in the back is non-existent. There used to be one here in the back. They've eliminated that, and that's where you stored the liners. So I'm not too happy about that, but probably not a deal breaker for me either. Since I always have a bag or a tank bag or something like that, these will probably crumple up very small and be able to go into my bag on my bike anyway. So that's the Quattro. And oh, something I should mention is the armor. This has CE 2-level rated armor on both the forearm and elbow of both arms, and then up on the shoulders. And then you have a D30 type. I don't think it's actually D30, but you have a soft back pad that is D30-like. So we'll see how much it actually helps, but I don't plan on crashing. I don't ride hard enough, and I'm not that good of a rider to really push myself to the point where I'm going to really be testing that. But you guaranteed you're going to fall when you're running on trails and things like that, and so doing enduro type riding, which I'm trying to get into this year, and we'll see how we do there. But this, I think, will be a good jacket for me to start with for the next year or two, and we'll wear this one out, and then there'll be time to move on to something possibly in a Revit or a Climb, something a little bit higher end. But for the money, you can't beat this. I got this in the winter sale from Fieldsheer directly. I only paid $150 for this jacket. Normally a $300 jacket if you buy it on Amazon today, so quite a good deal. Okay, so here we have the Journey Textile pant. So these are a zip side pant. They're going to be run a little small. I was really kind of disappointed in the sizing of these, but they are a good pant, and I just barely fit into them. So it's not a deal breaker, but really kind of unhappy with the sizing on these, and I wish they would have put a little more flex into them. So apparently I think I'm a little skinnier than I am. But so with these pants, this is a size large, and so I normally wear a pant size of 36 by 32, and that's what this is a 36 by 32 large is what they said on their site, and this is tight, tight, tight. I can wear it without anything else underneath, other than standard undergarments, but you know, I can't wear it over jeans or anything like that. This is a zip side pant. It's supposed to be an over pant, and as an over pant it should be sized up already to go over pants, at least in my mind. It seems a little skinny on the waist side, but other than that, I mean, it's a good quality pant, seems alright, and it was cheap, only $100. So, and this has, again, it's going to have some good quality D30 armor on the hips, and it's going to be CE level 2 rated knee pads, which I really am happy with because they actually run from here all the way to here, and they wrap around from there to there. So a large knee pad, I'm really a fan of that, and they really move well. These also have the same capabilities, same liner capabilities as the same liners as the jacket. So this has, instead of having 2 removable liners, however, it has 1. So I'll go ahead and zip this off and show you what we have here. So okay. And again, I can't really say a lot good about these zippers. If you're going to put in cheaper zippers, these aren't too bad. They're YKK zippers, and so they're not terrible. but you're going to put thin, really thin material next to a zipper, you need to make sure it stays back from the closer, because you just end up with that catching into the zipper, and that just drives me crazy. Same thing with like sleeping bags. And that's probably the closest thing I could use to describe for you this material, is it's kind of that silky material that you see inside of sleeping bags. So in the summertime, this is probably going to be pretty dang warm because this is a waterproof material. But I'm going to be wearing my riding pants anyway in the summer. So this is mainly for rain in the summertime, and then in the winter when it starts getting cold, I'll put this on. And then the thermal liner, of course, when it gets really cold, when it gets down below, say, 50 degrees, 40 degrees, and that. But I've now ridden this in up to negative 10 degree Fahrenheit weather. I'll have to put up on the screen how cold that actually is. But this thermal liner, just like the jacket, is extremely warm. So, and this zip side as well. And you can see I've just got my riding gear underneath, and they zip up just above the knee. So they work pretty well that way. And then your zippers here, and these are double-sided zippers, so you can zip this down for ventilation. And then you've got pockets here, and they're fairly good size. Wish they were a little bit bigger, and I wish they had more pockets down below, but again, not too big of a deal. And then as far as closure is concerned, you've got a snap and a little hook and loop type of closure, and they slip off. And like I say, they're a little tight around the waist. I would have much rather have seen something a little less tight. It may be better when I pull the thermal lining out, but it should fit well regardless of whether the thermal liner's in or not. So not too big of a fan of that, but overall I'm not terribly displeased with these. I have tried the Fox and the Alpenstars equivalent pant. This is by far better material, by far better padding, and by far more waterproof, as far as I know. We'll see how it actually holds up. But this is 600 denier fiber, really durable. The expansion corrugation above the knees really makes a big difference there, and the cut isn't too bad at all. Like I say, I wish this was just sized around the waist and hips just a bit more, or the zippers came up a little higher. Just so you even have them completely zip off would be great. But overall, not terribly displeased, especially in a price point of only $100 for these pants. So that's the Fieldsheer Journey Textile Pant and the Fieldsheer Quattro Jacket. Have any questions about these jackets or anything more I can answer for you, please leave those comments down below and we'll get to you as soon as possible. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the trails.